Welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. You can support this podcast by subscribing to our Patreon. Not only will you help to spread the truth about the war in Ukraine, but also get access to a series of exclusive episodes on wartime life in Ukraine. From this series, you can learn how ordinary Ukrainians live in times of invasion, what they eat, how they travel, celebrate, what music they listen to, and much more. For our latest episode, we talk with a Ukrainian volunteer who teaches Ukrainian military English language. To subscribe to our Patreon, follow the link in the description below. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 200 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. In his evening video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked Ukrainian forces who for 200 days fight the enemy and protect Ukraine. He expressed gratitude to those who, quote, liberated hundreds of our towns and villages, who broke the plans of the enemy because they did not break themselves. All those who held the defense and defended Kyiv, saved our capital and thus preserved our faith in our victory, unquote. Russia launched a series of missile attacks against the energy infrastructure of Ukraine, first of all in the eastern part of the country, reports Ukrainska Pravda. There was no electricity supply in various districts of Kharkiv, Poltava, Zaporizhia, Sumy and Dnipropetrovsk regions. In some areas, energy supply was restored in several hours, in others, works continue. Volodymyr Zelensky said that even through the impenetrable darkness, Ukraine and the civilized world clearly see these terrorist attacks. He stressed that the attacks were conducted against the civilian critical infrastructure, not military facilities. The president asked the Russians if they still think that they will be able to frighten, break and induce the Ukrainians to make concessions. He stressed that if forced to choose between the gas and the victory against Russians, Ukrainians would choose victory. Between light and the victory, again victory. Between water and the victory, again victory. Between food and the victory, again victory. Quote, cold, hunger, darkness and thirst are not as terrible and deadly for us as your friendship and brotherhood, unquote. Many Ukrainians on social media considered this attack to be Russia's response to Ukraine's successful counteroffensive in Kharkiv and Donetsk regions. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that Ukrainian forces continued the liberation of settlements from the Russian invaders in the Kharkiv and Donetsk regions, reports Union. Only yesterday, Ukrainian troops managed to drive out the enemy from more than 20 settlements, taking them under full control. The Russian units suffered significant losses and some of them are refusing to return into battle. Ukrainian defenders repelled enemy attacks near Mayorsk and Krasnohorivka. Fighting continues in Mykolaiivka Druga and Zaitsevo areas, Donetsk region. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Valery Zaluzhny, said yesterday that Ukrainians managed to retake control over more than 3,000 square kilometers since the beginning of September, reports Ukrinform. According to him, in the Kharkiv direction, less than 50 kilometers is left to the state border with Russia. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar informed that Ukrainian forces fire at the enemy positions with special projectiles with leaflets before launching a counteroffensive, reports LBUA. The leaflets explain that Putin is not worth dying for and contain instructions on how to surrender. Deputy Foreign Minister of Ukraine Yevhen Perebynis welcomed the decision of the Civil Aviation Administration of Moldova to ban Moldovan airlines from flying to Russia, reports European Pravda. He said that this way Moldova synchronizes its position with the approach of the EU countries and a number of other states that have officially stopped air connections with Russia. Previously, the Moldovan carrier Air Moldova announced the resumption of flights to Moscow from October 1st, but the local civil aviation authority prohibited all flights to Russia. Air Moldova promised to go with this issue to court. Since the end of February, Moldovan airlines have stopped flights to Russia. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine. Thank you.